Welcome to From the Logo.
I'm Mario Persiani.
I'm Michael Smith. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. This is a basketball and football podcast, and whatever the fuck else we feel like. Also, make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram,
Twitter.
and Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. First order of business today.
You're a fucking cornball.
At the time of recording this, it is Wednesday, February 7th. Tomorrow, the NFL Yearly Awards ceremony.
And
The trade deadline for the NBA. So, what I want to talk about first with you is I want to hear your award predictions for the NFL.
okay.
We can get into trade deadline stuff later. First
Okay.
of all, what do you think about the yearly awards?
Well, what do you mean by that? Like, what do I think about the yearly awards? Nah, fuck yearly awards. I think they're stupid as shit. Not unreal though. Sometimes I feel like it should be like, it should have been like last week. I feel like that would have made more sense in a way.
During the Pro Bowl, you mean? Like, kind of...
Nah, before the Pro Bowl. It should have been like a Monday or something.
Why do you say that?
Because like, you already went through the Pro Bowl and shit. And also it should start way before. I like how like the NBA used to did it back in the 90s where it'd be like, they would present you with the MVP at the last game of the regular season. Because this is a regular season award.
Got it.
Like,
Got it.
we're 4 months out, and who I think is going to win MVP, I think it's Lamar Jackson. What we think about him right now is like, damn, he choked in the playoffs.
Yeah. They don't take into consideration the postseason, so why are they waiting until after the postseason to give the award?
It feels like that, yeah.
Got it. That's valid.
Yeah.
So, Lamar for MVP? That's who you got?
That's who I got. I Lamar for MVP.
Do you think he deserves it?
No shit, I think he deserves it. That's why I think he MVP.
I think DeMar Hamlin's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. I don't necessarily think he deserves it.
Okay. Well, who do you think deserves it then? You know, fuck predictions. Who do you think deserve these awards then? Because I think that's more interesting. Because we could predict and get it right, but that's shit kind of boring. Who do you think deserves Comeback Player of the Year?
Hot take. Joe Flacco deserves Comeback Player of the Year.
Is that really a hot take?
A lot of people are saying Baker. I've seen a lot of people say Baker. And, you know, Baker did his thing this year. But Baker played all year.
Yeah.
Baker had his off-season training. Baker was with a team the entire time.
Okay.
Joe Flacco came off his couch and led his team to the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. I understand that.
So I think a lot of people say Baker, but you know, I really think I think Joe Flacco deserves the award the most out of everybody.
I'm gonna bring up a great point though. Anybody who played for the Jazz who goes to a different team, they win a Comeback Player of the Year. I watched Joe Flacco play. He played like shit with the Jets. I watched every single game Joe Flacco had. Offensive line was shit. One wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. Brees Hall was out. Michael Carter couldn't run the ball. I think he's on Arizona. That team was shit. Like, that's an awful situation. That's just an awful situation in general. So even to start as a joke, I feel like it kind of is better. Now, difference is Baker, right? Last year, he originally started with the Browns. Then he got cut.
Yep.
He then... Was he even signed to a team before the Rams?
He was with the Panthers.
He was with the Panthers.
He was with the Panthers for a little bit.
Yeah, he was with yeah. Then he got traded to the Rams.
Yep.
First game, stepped in, won them a game against the Raiders on Thursday night.
Yeah.
One day, it wasn't like usual trade deadline stuff. The first day he came in, he won them a game.
Yep. In spectacular fashion too. Like he had an incredible performance.
So I think I want to say mine. I think it was Baker. But the thing with Baker though, they have this Flacco. Flacco looked like shit last year. Baker, in bad situations, also looked bad. But when he had talent around him with the Los Angeles Rams,
he was able to perform.
Yeah. Now we go to a team that even without Brady, they were talented, but they didn't have a quarterback.
Yep.
I mean, with any team, making sure I don't fuck up. Any team with Kyle Trask would be like shit. It's like any team with like any bad quarterback. Zach Wilson.
Shout out Jets fans.
Tim Boyle, another one. Or like Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito can't elevate nobody. Baker has been to the playoffs. We've seen that. And kind of like the Browns, they had good talent around them. They have a great offensive line, just like the Browns did when he made the playoffs. And they have Mike Evans, who is just Mr. Consistent, 1,000 yards every single year of his career.
Yep.
Chris Godwin, who on a downswing, but he's still good.
Talented wide receiver, for sure.
They didn't really use running the ball, but they have a great defense. They have a great defensive head coach, Todd Bowles. They have players, Levante David, he's still good at his age.
Yep.
Vita Vea is one of the best run-stopping players in the league. Great cornerbacks. So he had talent around him to help give him a support system. That's what, and this is like a different topic I want to talk about, but the way people do the draft is fucked up. Let's go back to the Panthers, right? You have Bryce Young. They give up all this stuff for Bryce Young. Not just draft picks, but DJ Moore.
Yeah, they gave up everything for Bryce Young.
They gave up their number one wide receiver to get a quarterback who best friend should be the number one wide receiver. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Now, it makes sense, right? Oh, you got to trade up for QB to be aggressive. But their team was already in the top 10 picks that year. So the team itself is not good. You can blame coaching as much as you want. Hire Frank Reich. That didn't work out either. They're worse this year than last year. And they don't have their first round pick.
Because they gave it to the Bears to get their star quarterback.
Now, truthfully, who would want to sign with the Carolina Panthers?
Right now, nobody.
Brian Branch is going to be a free agent. They have Derek Brown, Bryce Young, Miles Sanders. They have Ike Mekwonu from a couple years ago. And that's really it. There's another guy on the offensive line I'm forgetting, but that's really it. They got a guy, Mingo, last year's draft as well.
Jonathan Mingo.
But would it be that hard to picture that Bryce Young could be a bust? Right now, this current day, since we have no free agency, no nothing.
I mean,
no draft. And that really hurts them because they have no first round pick. They don't have big talent players. Now this draft has a bunch of wide receivers, a bunch of offensive linemen who could go in a bunch of rounds.
Yeah. I don't think it's a question of whether or not Bryce Young is a bust. I think it's a question of whether or not Bryce Young is a what if. Because we can't call him a bust.
I'm not saying he's a bust.
I'm saying that he's a bust implies that it's him. That it's his lack of skill. He was thrown into a bad situation. And, I mean, I love C.J. Stroud and I love Anthony Richardson, right? Like, Bryce Young was my least favorite quarterback in that class, to be honest. But I think Bryce Young is a big what if, especially with the future that the Panthers have, not having any early round draft capital and having, little to no talent. Yeah, so I think he's a big what if. I don't even know if he can be thought about as a bust just because he never even had the chance to play the game the way that the game was supposed to be played. He's alone out there, really.
Now, obviously, this could change if they somehow get talent around him. And this is just his first year. He's going to improve. Even Zach Wilson, who was awful, has improved.
Well, he also got to, train an entire offseason with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Andy Dalton ain't no slouch. Andy Dalton is not no slouch. Who do you think was throwing to A.J. Green, making him have amazing catches?
Andy Dalton.
It was Andy fucking Dalton.
Top Andy Dalton Glazer.
I am not. I'm not a fucking Andy Dalton Glazer.
We're getting off topic.
Okay.
We're getting off topic. You talk about Baker, then Bryce, then comeback player of the year. You say Baker Mayfield deserves it.
I say Baker Mayfield because Bryce Young can't do shit with that team.
Okay.
Fuck that. Sam Darnold in the one game he played. Yeah, it's Baker.
Okay.
But DeMar Hamlin's going to win.
Yeah. And no hate to DeMar Hamlin. I think DeMar Hamlin deserves comeback person of the year. I mean, what happened to him and what he went through is incredible. But
he gonna write a book.
But he is.
New York Times bestseller instantly.
He is.
He gonna be made for life because he had a heart attack on the field and didn't die.
But there's a very important word in there, comeback player of the year. If you look up DeMar Hamlin's stats, I mean, it's nothing compared to the other
Yeah,
candidates.
obviously he's not a player.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this up. Come and talk about stats, right?
Yeah.
Brees Hall
That's another good one.
tore his ACL.
Of another good
Not
good
even a
candidate.
nominee.
Yep. Not even thought about. Tore his ACL, came back.
I watched this offense about 15 games. After 15 games, I quit. I'm not gonna lie. For 15 games, he carried that offense and an offensive line that I think probably nobody can work with because of how bad the talent was, how bad the coaching was.
Yep.
And he has the most touchdowns for this team.
He made it work.
He made it somehow work, barely, but he made it work.
He was definitely a difference maker. And I definitely think that he deserves to be thought about. I don't know if I think that he should win, but
I don't think he win, but I feel
he
like
deserves to be
him
thought
not
about.
even being nominated
Yeah,
is kind of crazy.
he deserves to be thought about for sure. For sure.
But then again, who are you going to replace? Not DeMar Hamlin.
No.
Not Baker.
Nope. Not Joe Flacco.
Not Joe Flacco.
Nope.
Tua. People thought he should retire.
I don't even know if Tua should be up there.
But people said after his second concussion against the Bengals, damn, he might have to hang it up.
Yeah.
Now look at him. Throwing a Hill. Throwing a Waddle.
Yep.
Handing off to Raheem.
Handing off to A-Chain.
Handing off to Jeff Wilson. Handing off to Alec Ingold.
Yeah. Well, I think that Brees Hall was definitely. I think that's insulting that he didn't even get nominated.
The only one he might make the case for is Matthew Stafford. But he had a back injury.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
old as shit.
he's been battling the back injury for years now. Back, neck, he's been falling apart since he was 27.
Drafted. 27 drafted. Since he was drafted, he's been falling apart.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do we have?
Coach of the year.
Coach of the year?
I think it's kind of simple though.
That's easy for me.
What was it?
D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans.
If we look at that team on paper,
Yep.
shit sucks.
Rookie quarterback.
Rookie quarterback, rookie wide receivers,
Yep.
except Robert Woods.
Yep.
You have
Who is not going to carry a team by any means.
no, he's old as shit. That's why they got traded, and he got traded from the Rams to the Titans, and the
Yep.
Titans didn't want him.
Mm-hmm. Dalton Schultz at tight end, another.
Year before, so 2 years ago, franchise tag player, great for the Cowboys. Last year had a slump year. That's why he went to the Texans.
Yep.
People like Larry Tunzel. Then who else on the offensive line? Can you name off the top of your head?
Nobody.
The defense. If you looked at that on paper before the season, besides what's his name? Third overall pick, Will Anderson. Who's big playmakers? Now he had Derek Stingley.
Yeah.
But he had a quiet year, especially compared to Sauce Gardner, who was already all pro, Pro Bowl player in his first year.
Yep. Yeah.
But a lot of people stepped up.
I don't think there's any question about it. I think D'Amico Ryans will and deserves Coach of the Year more than any other coach this year. Who would you even have other than D'Amico Ryans?
I can't even think off the top of my head who's in contention. It's Jim Harbaugh, right? D'Amico. Who else is in contention? Look it up.
I think they have Shanahan.
But Shanahan's just...
They have Andy Reid up there, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think Andy Reid's up there. I really don't think he is. Especially, no, there's no way, because they had a down year.
Oh, let's look. Hold on.
Jim Harbaugh makes sense. Since they're number one seed.
It's John, right? John's the one.
I thought he was the one for...
No, Jim is... Pretty sure Jim is the one that just signed with the Chargers.
Fuck.
I can never tell them apart.
John Harbaugh, yeah.
I can never tell them apart.
You're right, yeah, John Harbaugh.
Okay. Coach of the Year nominees. Yep. John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
D'Amico Ryans. Dan Campbell. That's another one that I think D'Amico Ryans should get it, but they also have Kevin Stefanski up there and Kyle Shanahan. I think that Dan Campbell also deserves some recognition. I don't think he deserves Coach of the Year because he has talent on that team. But I definitely think that,
Especially since last year at the tail end, they really started to fight for that playoff spot.
Yep. Yeah. I think that Dan Campbell's Coach of the Year argument started last year.
Yeah.
I think D'Amico Ryans has started this year.
Yeah, and especially since he's a first year head coach. And I remember they showed a graphic. It was the last time a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback made it to the playoffs. It was 2009. My New York Jets.
MVP.
Told you.
We skipped over it.
You did. I told you Lamar
skipped
Jackson.
over it. Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson deserves it as well. I think Lamar Jackson is one of the biggest difference makers in football when it comes to like individual being a threat on his own. I don't think there's anybody more threatening than Lamar Jackson simply because of the fact that he can do it all.
I agree as well. I mean, I also want to throw out this. If the Eagles didn't collapse the way they did at the end of the season, would Hurts have won it? They didn't collapse as bad. So let's say they went 1 for 6, right? I believe.
I think so, yeah. Last 7 games.
3-4. So still not the best record, but 3-4.
I don't think so. I don't think he would have.
Okay.
I mean,
because Hurts is not even a nominee, I don't think.
no, I don't think he is either. No, but Jalen Hurts, a lot of his rushing touchdowns come from the tush push. You know, a big part of being a dual threat quarterback and being voted for MVP is looking at the number of rushing touchdowns and rushing yards.
Yep.
A large part of his touchdowns come from the tush push, which is, it's effective for their team. It gets them wins.
Yeah.
But most valuable player is an individual award. It's not a team award. Nobody else is helping you get that award. And Jalen Hurts had a lot of help with his statistics. Lamar Jackson's statistics are his own.
Okay, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would also say that he has, I believe, the worst wide receiver corp out of all the nominees. They have a rookie wide receiver who's good, Zay Flowers. Odell Beckham.
Yeah. Nelson Aguilar,
who's been passed around. Rashad Bateman, who doesn't really play anymore because he drops a lot of balls. Then let's compare Brock Purdy, Debo, Ayuk,
Kittle. Yep. McCaffrey. Yeah.
Who else was in there? Allen.
Yep.
Diggs. Then he had Davis.
Yep.
The other one, he's a deep threat. Off the top of my head, but he also have Kincaid, Knox, Cook.
Yeah. The only person I think I would argue with you about that is Mahomes. I think that the Chiefs. I might be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure that the statistic is the Chiefs' wide receiver room had the most amount of drops this season out of any wide receiver room. And I mean, we've seen the drops. Kadarius Toney gave the Lions a touchdown in opening week.
Yep.
He still hasn't lived that down.
But you also have to remember, he had Kelsey all season long.
He did have Kelsey.
I forgot Andrews, but Andrews fucked his leg up in week 10. So that's 8 other weeks he had to play with those guys. And I'm not disrespecting those guys. I'm just saying they're not.
They got the job done.
They're not upper echelon.
Yeah.
They're about
I agree
middle
completely.
of the pack.
I agree completely. Yeah.
And for a lot of MVPs, they've had great supporting cast.
Yeah. They have. Lamar is Lamar. There really is nobody that you can point to and say he helped you get that award. I agree with you completely. With Mahomes, it's Kelsey.
Yep.
With Brock Purdy, it's everybody on the team.
Everybody.
I think that Brock Purdy is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think he is at all in the same tier as the Josh Allens and the Patrick Mahomes and the Lamar Jacksons. I think that he gets a lot of hate, and I think that he's a good quarterback. You have to be a good quarterback in order to, make it that far. No matter what team you have, you have to be at least a skilled quarterback.
Yeah. The thing with Brock Purdy is that it's not even justified. A lot of when people hate on quarterbacks is because they play bad.
Yeah.
How many other people blame teams? Oh, the team's too good.
Yeah.
You're just a quarterback. There's only one other person I can think of off the top of my head.
Tua?
Oh, yeah, 3 people.
Tua not as much.
I wasn't thinking current, but...
Who?
Ham, Tua, and Brady. People hated Brady for years and said the defense carries you.
Yeah.
The defense carries you. The coach is better.
Yeah. And when he first came in, Randy Moss, Wes Welker.
Well, not when he first came in.
Well, but when people first started to hate, I should have said, a lot of people brought up Randy Moss, Wes Welker, when they got Edelman, and Edelman
Gronk.
started to become a big part of that offense as well.
The world's greatest thug, Aaron Hernandez.
Totally, yeah.
That's my idol.
Aaron Hernandez Glazer too.
Now my real idol is Peyton Manning. Got a big ass forehead like him.
Show the camera your forehead.
No, I'm shy. Self confidence. Self confidence.
Anyways, offensive rookie of the year,
Stroud.
Defensive rookie,
Which
of
is
the
crazy. You have Jameer Gibbs, Laporta.
I mean, it was a very impressive draft class.
Puka Nacua.
If anybody got it other than Stroud, I think it would be Puka Nacua. And I was just thinking about this earlier today. Puka Nacua broke the rookie receiving record for receptions and receiving yards. And I think any other year that warrants an offensive rookie of the year award.
Last year he would have won it.
Yep. But this year, because CJ Stroud comes in, rookie quarterback, not even the first overall pick.
No. He was getting hate.
Yep.
Draft night.
Yep. Second overall pick goes to the Texans, which a team everybody wrote off, really. And took what you were just talking about earlier, a team that on paper does not look good at all, and broke multiple records and took them to a playoff run. And honestly, I was rooting for them. I was.
It's an all-time rookie performance.
It really is. Both of them, really.
Like I brought up earlier, Bryce Young. He had a bad situation as well.
Yeah.
He couldn't make it. Most people can't make it like that.
Yeah, I mean,
even all-time greats can't make a bad situation rookie year great. But he did.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Ravens, right? And when or the Jets, when Mark Sanchez, Rex Ryan, they made his first year. They had a great defense, great offensive line, kind of older receivers. But all Mark Sanchez had to do was let that defense win. Same thing with Baltimore the year before of Joe Flacco and John Harbaugh. Joe Flacco didn't have as much pressure because of that great defense that Baltimore had and always has.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's...
So this year, it's really like, even though D'Amico Ryans is a defensive head coach, it was really the star power of mostly Stroud and a great coaching from Rico.
Yeah. It was a really impressive year. Very impressive year.
Defensive rookie of the year.
I'm pretty sure it's going to go to Will Anderson. Do you think Will Anderson deserves it? Do you think that he is the best candidate in those 5 nominees?
Who's the nominees again? Will Anderson.
Will Anderson. Kobe Turner is up there. Jalen Carter. Who else?
I feel like, I'm going to be honest, right?
Joey Porter Jr. and Devin Witherspoon. Those are the other 2. Carter, Turner, Anderson, Porter, Witherspoon.
Didn't Witherspoon make, was it Pro Bowl or All Pro?
I think did he make All Pro?
He made one of those his rookie year. And here's another thing I want to bring up, right? How much did you really hear about Will Anderson?
Not much. I was kind of surprised when I saw every single NFL yearly awards prediction say Will Anderson for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I heard a lot about Jalen Carter when he was playing, especially the first couple weeks, because he was dominant. Now, obviously, that defense fell apart and looked like a sack of shit, but he was dominant, just like people predicted.
Yeah.
And if he didn't fucking win a race and was a part of someone dying, would he have been number 3 overall? I I think so. I think everybody was like, Will Anderson is a great talent, but Jalen Carter could be like that defensive tackle for the next 10 years. Generational.
I saw multiple mock drafts going with him number 1.
Even
Not even a quarterback.
even after that, in that big controversy, people still mocked him high.
Yeah. And he still went high. He went 8 or 9, right? I think he went 8 or 9.
The farthest he would go down was 10. I seen in a mock draft, even with that.
Yep.
And a lot of people like Laramie Tunsil, him smoking, dropped him from a top 5 pick to number 15, or around that range. I can't remember exactly, but I believe it was number 15.
Yeah. Witherspoon got Pro Bowl selection rookie year, which popularity contest.
Seahawks love voting. Seahawks fans. Remember last year, Sauce or Tariq Woolen?
Yeah.
The Seahawks fans really try to bang down saying it's Tyreek. Look at the pick numbers. And he was locked down.
Yeah. I love Devin Witherspoon.
Yep.
Coming in, and he made plays everywhere. He was all over the field. He made plays in the run game. He made plays in the pass game. But, I mean, Jalen Carter has been dominant. And for him to be dominant on a defensive line, especially the defensive tackles, to have talent like that where you're not even a starter. I think he was a rotation player. I mean, they rotate their defensive line the entire time, but
You have Cox, Jordan Davis.
Yep.
All those guys.
Yeah.
Brandon Graham's on that line. Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat.
Talented.
Those are more edge rushers, but still.
Talent. Real talent. And for him to make a difference surrounded by that much talent competing for a spot, I mean, Will Anderson had no competition around him. And I think that he did his job and he was a good player, but I think that Jalen Carter deserves that award. I think he was a real difference maker.
Then you also have to do Devon Witherspoon.
Yep.
He had to be cross-side of, what's his name? Tariq Woolen, I just said it.
Yep.
Who, like last year, he was a Pro Bowler. He was acclaimed as a great corner. Devon Witherspoon might have played even better. Now, we're not saying, like, Will Anderson, oh, he's a bum. No. We're saying that it is kind of surprising that so many people are saying, oh, it's Will Anderson. I can't keep doing what ifs, but, like, let's say Eagles, right? Same exact situation. Eagles drafted number 3, Jalen Carter. Will Anderson went number 8 or 9. Who would win? Who would win it? Who do you think would win the war?
I mean, I think it would have been Jalen Carter. I mean, I think even if that controversy had never happened in general, I think
I'd say it's more than a controversy. I'd say it's a fucking crime.
It is. Well, I mean, there was a lot that went on there, but if that hadn't happened at all, and everything else stayed the same, Texans trade up, they get Will Anderson, Eagles take Jalen Carter at 8 or 9 or whatever it was, I think Jalen Carter still wins that award.
Makes sense.
I think that a big part of it is the fact that I think a lot of people still aren't sure about his maturity levels and whether or not he's going to make some stupid decisions. So I think that they're hesitant to give the award to somebody like that,
Defensive Player of the Year.
TJ Watt.
TJ?
I got to give it to TJ Watt.
I heard a lot of people say Garrett.
I have heard a lot of people say... I heard a lot of people say Garrett. I did. But, I mean... Man, I was just looking at the stats the other day, too. Comparing the stats between all of them. Let me see if I can find it. The thing that I saw was that there was just... Myles Garrett was... sacks, pressures, hits... But TJ Watt was on par, if not better, with sacks, pressures, hits, and interceptions, forced incompletions. Like, I think he might have had a forced fumble. He was an all-around player. You know.
Yeah. I think out of all the nominees, which are T.J. Watt, Max Crosby,
Max Crosby was another one I was thinking about.
honestly, three of them, like T.J. Watt, Max Crosby, Mark Parsons, Miles Garrett, Duran Bland, those are all the nominees. But three of them, the edge rushers, Max Crosby, Miles Garrett, and T.J. Watt, unlike the Cowboys, those teams needed those defenses. The Raiders kept they had an uncertain QB play. So did the Browns. So did the Steelers. Steelers had one of the worst offensive ever.
Yeah.
And people like T.J. Watt helped them get to the playoffs.
Yeah, and to second what you're saying, a lot of people talk about Duran Bland.
Miles Garrett kind of disappeared the second half of the season.
Yeah, towards the end of the season. A lot of people are talking about Duran Bland and saying, well, you know, he set the NFL record for pick sixes. He put points on the board for his team. No other defensive player of the year nominee is doing that. But Dallas was the top scoring offense in the league. They didn't really need those points.
It's a luxury.
Yeah, really, it was. I mean, they had
also
no need
look
for
at the
it.
defense itself. You have two defensive player of the year nominations.
Yep.
And who did they lose at the first? I think 2 weeks of the season. The other corner,
Trayvon Diggs.
Then you also had who else was behind him? Stephon Gilmore.
Yep.
Then you have also a bunch. You still have Dexter Lawrence. Not Dexter Lawrence. Holy shit! What's his name?
DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence.
Giants fans are gonna stab me in the eye. DeMarcus Lawrence. Then you have Ozzie Smith. You have a bunch of players on that defense.
Yeah. No, it's a very talented defense, but putting points on the board wasn't even really necessary. I think that if Duran Bland had the performance that he had on any other team, I think he might win the award, but the points aren't as noticeable when you're the top scoring offense in the league.
I'm gonna bring this up. Miles Garrett's second best player on the defense is who?
Who do you say it is?
Who do you say?
I mean, I would probably say the Warden. I would say Denzel Ward, right?
Okay. Who else is also good on the defense?
You got Zadarius Smith on the other side. I can't remember his name. That linebacker, the one with the three names.
Jeremiah Wosu-Koroma.
Thank you. He has been incredible. Who are you thinking?
I was thinking those names.
Yeah.
Who does T.J. Watt also have on his defense?
Joey Porter Jr.
Joey Porter Jr. Alex Highsmith.
Right.
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Now I'm only bringing you this. Who the fuck is on the Raiders defense? Besides Max Crosby.
I don't even know if I can think of somebody.
I know someone, but
I feel like
I'm
should
scared
know.
to say his name.
Why?
Wrong.
I feel like I
He's
should.
a linebacker, right guy. Robert Spinach? I forget his name.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Max Crosby has been a crazy difference maker. I think, Max Crosby, watching the film and watching him himself, I don't think any of the other edge rushers in that nominee board have been as influential, not only in the pass, but as well in the run, Yeah. Max Crosby was behind the line, making a mess out of the play no matter what the play was. He didn't need for the offensive lineman to pass block in order to get past them. No matter what that offensive lineman was doing, Max Crosby was getting by.
I heard a thing said by his name's Trevor Sikkema for PFF. I think this was the I forgot, but it's a podcast with him and Connor Rogers, and so he has Latu, a guy, a prospect NFL draft edge rusher. Who do you watch? He said Max Crosby, and he said this: every single edge rusher I asked, they would all say Max Crosby. Not all of them would say Micah Parsons. Not all of them would say Miles Garrett. Not all of them would say T.J. Watt. They would all say Max Crosby.
Yeah. I mean, Max Crosby is a menace on the field. He's making plays. He's playing the left side, and he's making plays on the right side after traveling behind the entire offensive line and making a tackle for loss. Like, it is truly, he is a freak athlete. A freak athlete.
Super Bowl. Who do you got?
If I had been asked...
Wait, the Super Bowl that nobody really gives a fuck about unless you're on the Bay or else you're in
Kansas City. If I had been asked this question before the postseason began, the final week of the regular season, if I was told it would be Chiefs, 49ers, Super Bowl, who do you have? I would have said 49ers without any hesitation. None whatsoever. But when the postseason started, those two teams went in very different directions. The 49ers fell drastically. I mean, against the Packers, the Packers broke their 51-game streak of not allowing a 100-yard rusher. Aaron Jones rushed for 107 yards that game. And the very next game, they had almost 150 put up on them in the first half alone by the dual threat running backs of the Lions. Like, they fell apart almost, it seemed. They had to scramble to get the wins that they did, whereas with the Chiefs, they rose to a new level. Yes, Michael.
But here's the thing. The Chiefs do not rely on their running backs as much as those teams.
No.
They give Pacheco a lot of carries. But every great defenses that they've gone against, the Bills, the Ravens, he hasn't really done shit. Flip side, and this is the one thing that made me so mad at watching the Ravens game. What are they ranked on the season? Rushing.
The Ravens?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are they ranked?
They're the best rushing team in the league.
Are they?
How many times do you think they ran the ball for the running backs? After the half.
Not a lot.
0.
Well, does that stat include Lamar Jackson?
I said running backs, dickhead.
But no, I'm saying does the ranking include Lamar?
They never really had design runs. And that also kind of seemed like that for the Bills. But with the Bills game, it was different. They kind of stopped the Bills after the Bills ran down the field and scored on them. But Bills don't have Christian McCaffrey. And the Ravens don't have Christian McCaffrey. And as great as the offensive linemen are, Deion Dawkins, left side. You have Ronnie Stanley, left side. He's a great tackle.
Yep.
They're not Trent fucking Williams.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw a stat earlier today about the difference that Trent Williams makes in the run game, the stats for the 49ers running with and without Trent Williams. And their, tackle for loss percentage goes from 18 to 32, I think it was. Average yards per carry go from, I think it went from 5.2 to 3.8. Almost over an entire yard less. Like, Trent Williams is still, at this age, a dominant offensive lineman.
And I've seen that myself with the Jets. Laken Tomlinson was a Pro Bowler. Now, for offensive line, that's a lot different than usual Pro Bowls. Because, like you said, it's a popularity contest. Not many casuals know offensive linemen.
Yeah.
You could watch 1,000 49ers games and won't really even know the name Laken Tomlinson if you were just a casual viewer.
Yep.
He came to the Jets. Stunk it up. Still stinking it up. That's how much of a difference a great left tackle or a great line can make.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. Now you have L'Jarius Sneed. Great corner.
Incredible.
Trent McDuffie.
Incredible. They've been very, very good this year. Both of them.
Kyle Shanahan. Now he's fucked up in play. He's 0 for 2 in the playoffs. But he knows what they're going to do. He is not a dumb offensive mind.
They're going to find Kelsey.
No fun. No, I said Shanahan.
No, but you said he knows what they're going to do.
Yeah. I said offense. He's an offensive guy, bro.
I thought you were talking about
No,
Shanahan knowing what. Whatever. Continue.
The defense.
Okay. Yep.
He knows how to scheme against them.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be different. Now, the Chiefs have been a great defense this year. Even their turmoil of the offense, great defense all year. Difference is now we go to the defensive side of the 49ers. Everybody knows on planet Earth who they going to. And that's Taylor Swift's boy.
Up and coming boyfriend.
Up and coming boyfriend.
Nobody knew about him before.
Nobody
before
knew.
Taylor Swift.
I didn't even know who that guy was.
I still don't
But
know who
apparently
he is.
he invented the fade.
Did he?
He invented the fade. I didn't know what that was before. I just thought people looked stupid before. He made it look cool. I want to be Travis Kelce.
That's his name? I still don't know his name.
I don't have
He's
to.
just Taylor Swift's boyfriend to me.
I don't want to date Taylor Swift, but I want to be Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy, he's like so cool.
You saw his playoff beard?
He's that's the beard I want. Like I want to be like, oh, he's so cool. He does a podcast too. You know that?
Does he?
Yeah, he does a podcast.
What? You are Travis Kelce. You're doing a podcast.
Damn.
For real though, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anger circulating regarding the hangout session that the 49ers players and the Chiefs players were having before the Super Bowl the other day.
So stupid.
How do you feel about that? Because there is a lot of hate going around.
Who cares?
There's a lot of hate.
Who cares?
I agree.
Here's my thing, right? If this was like Patriots versus who is like their arch rival, Giants. That's like there's no.
They wouldn't even hang out. They would refuse.
Two separate hotels. Like you're not seeing each other.
Oh yeah.
Across town.
Oh yeah. Yep. But
the Chiefs 49ers, like they see each other once in the Super Bowl. And it's a different era now.
Yeah.
It's all buddy. It's all, oh, guys. You know what they're really trying to do? They're probably trying to recruit each other to each other's team. Yo, Adair Sneed, they're not going to pay you as much money. You see what they did to Chris Jones. Come play for the 49ers.
They don't have any more money.
Yo, Chase Young. You could really be nice with George Karlaftis and Chris Jones. We'll find some way to get Sneed back. We'll find some way. Oh, wait, my bad. We'll find some way, Sneed. We'll get you back.
Is that your Andy Reid impression?
my Kyle Shanahan is man, like McCaffrey, like he's so great. And that's my
Stop. So who do you have then? Because we never even got to that.
I've doubted the Chiefs every single time. I'm still gonna doubt them. I doubted them last time. I doubted the time before. I doubted the time before. And they've won. And I'm still going to doubt them. Go 49ers. I don't give a fuck.
All right. That's interesting. I was saying it earlier. They went in very different directions. The Niners seemed to go down, and the Chiefs kind of seemed to go up a little bit. The Chiefs surprised me. I wish the Chiefs weren't even in the Super Bowl, first of all. There were 30 other Super Bowl combinations that I would have rather seen.
Name them right now.
Texans, Packers.
Loser.
I was really, I did like the idea of a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl. Ravens, Cowboys.
Ravens,
Lions. I was rooting for the Lions against the 49ers that game.
Ravens.
Yep.
I would have seen any team but the Chiefs, bro.
But
any team but the Chiefs.
Now that they're
Panthers versus Bears Super Bowl. That shit not even possible. I'd rather seen that. Panthers Bears. Adam Thielen.
That's nap time. That's not the Super
Adam
Bowl.
Thielen
That's nap time.
versus Jalen Johnson. That's the matchup.
But the scriptwriters will be cooking. DJ Moore.
Darnell Savage versus Brian Burns.
I got Chiefs. As much as I don't want it to happen, whatever Mahomes magic, it's Brady all over again.
You a Mahomie?
No.
You a Mahomie?
No.
Honestly, if there's an adult who says they're a Mahomie, that's cringe. But if there's like a little kid, that's fine. We gonna beat up a little kid? I'm a Mahomie. Okay, kid. Cool.
Where did that come from?
That's like his name of like a cherry he has.
Is it?
Yeah, he has like something calls them like the Mahomies. That's why I think I turned around. I thought, oh, that's kind of cute. Bro, you gonna call a sick kid? Yo, fuck you, calling yourself a Mahomie? You're fucked up.
Why would he call them Mahomies?
because
It's just weird.
his name's Mahomes.
It's just
They're his
weird.
homies. They're Mahomes homies.
It's weird.
Mahomes homies.
That's just weird.
It's not Jackson Mahomes, bro. It's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a good guy. Hot take. I like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like anybody around him. Well, I like Patrick Mahomes. Except Andy Reid and most of the Chiefs. I like Patrick Mahomes.
And that was from the logo.
We're not done yet.
I know. I just wanted that to end. I think that wraps it
I
up.
like Patrick Mahomes. Did you know I'm like Travis Kelce? The NBA. I have brought a couple things.
You have?
Yes, I've actually did homework. So if people thinking, damn, this guy's a fucking idiot about football. I did research. Not really. I have a segment. I have a segment for you.
Okay.
I'll do it real quick. Break time, ad read. Guys, raid Shadow Legends. No, just kidding. I hope.
Why am I doing this with you?
Okay, but this is really. I call this is pretty simple. And I think we might do this other times. I call this player A, player B. It's pretty simple.
Raid Shadow Legends, feel free to sponsor us.
Feel free to give me money. Player A, player B. And this is All-Stars versus All-Star Snubs.
Oh. Okay.
Now, there were, you could say Trae Young and Scotty Barnes, but I excluded them because of reserves for Julius Randle and for Joel Embiid. So, none of those here. Honestly, I don't have anybody for the Eastern side. I didn't really like the snubs, especially since Trae Young and Scotty Barnes was out. So, these are all in the Western Conference.
Okay.
So, I'm going to give you... So, player A, first one. 19.7 points per game. 13.1 rebounds per game. 8.2 assists per game. 0.8 steals per game, 0.5 blocks per game, 61.9% field percentage, 43.4 3-point percentage, 6.1 box plus minus, 3.5 VORP, which is basically more so rating above like average. So if it's an average player, this is how many wins he gives you or how much better you are.
Okay.
114.2 defensive rating. The league averages 116.8.
Okay.
They are the 5th seed in the West, and his usage rate per 100% possessions, which means how many possessions will he have the ball, is 22.1.
So not a lot.
That's a good amount.
Is it?
A lot of stars are like 20,
Okay.
30.
Big scorer. Big. Okay. So
Scorer. I said he's 19.7 points a game.
Okay. Who's player B?
It's 24.7 points per game, 12.3 rebounds per game, 3.9 assists per game, 1.1 steals per game, 2.4 blocks per game,
2.4.
2.4. 55.4 field percentage, 29.8 3-point percentage, 5.2 box plus minus, 3.1 VORP, 109.7 defensive rating. Remember, the average is 116.8.
You said that was 109.7. This one.
109.7.
Okay.
So that's really good.
Yep.
They are the 9th seed, and their usage is 26.4. Who would you have as an all-star?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, because that was a lot of stats.
It was a lot of stats.
So, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
First person
Yep.
seems slightly more well-rounded. More assists, a little less in every category, but every category has a decently respectable number.
They win 6 categories. I would say they're more well-rounded offensively.
Right. And what was their defensive rating again?
114.2.
And the second player was
109.7.
So I think I would go player A.
Player A?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember, player A is 5th seed. Player
B.
B is the 9th seed. So you go player A.
I think I go player A there.
Okay. I'll note that. Player A first round. I'm going to tell you who these are.
You're going to give me my all-star lineup at the end?
Well,
people I
there's
picked
only
for-
3 people.
Okay.
Well, 3 rounds.
Whatever.
First round, you get player.
Okay.
Player A, second round. 27.3 points per game. Wow. 4 rebounds.
Okay.
5.3 assists.
Okay.
1.8 steals.
Okay.
0.4 blocks.
Okay.
46.9 field goal percentage. I did these by positions about how if they're a front court player, backcourt player. These are 2 backcourt players, by the way, so you know. 37.8 3-point percentage.
Wow.
1.9 box plus minus. 1.5 VORP. 116.1 defensive rating. The 5th seed as well, and your usage rating is 31.2.
Okay.
Player B. 28.1 points per game. 4.4.
28.1.
28.1.
Okay.
44. 4.4 rebounds. 5 assists. 0.8 steals. 0.4 blocks. 46 from field goal. 41 from 3-point percentage.
41 from 3?
5.4 blocks plus minus. 2.7 VORP. 119.3 defensive rating. They are the 11th seed, and his usage rating is 31.5.
Give me player B.
Huh?
Give me player B.
Player B?
Player B.
Okay. Even though they're 11th seed.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
This is All-Star. This isn't... We're looking at the player here. We're not looking at the team, right? Didn't you say this was All-Star versus All-Star snubs?
People will talk about seeding. And it does matter. It does matter also. I'm serious. It does matter. If you are higher rated seed, you're more likely to get more players. That's just facts. More likely.
I want player B.
Player B?
Yep.
That's probably the most difficult matchup I gave to a snub. An all-star. I think that was... Yeah, like I said. Player A, round 3.
Yep.
21.6 points per game. 9.3 rebounds. 5.1 assists. 1.2 steals. 0.7 blocks. 54.3 field goal percentage. 29.3 3-point percentage. 5.1 box plus minus. 2.8 VORP. 110.4 defensive rating. They're 12th seed. 27.3 usage rating.
Usage rating was 27.3, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Player B, 22.5 points per game, 3.8 total rebounds, 3 assists, 0.7 steals, 0.6 blocks, 51.7 field goal percentage, 43.7 3-point percentage, 2.9 box plus minus, 2 VORP, 108.4 defensive rating. The first seed as of time selected as an all-star. I made that note important. Right now they're the 3rd seed, but when they were selected, they were the 1st seed. And they have a usage rate of 27.4.
What was the defensive rating for player A?
110.4. Player B is 108.4.
I feel like this is this is the closest one so far.
Really?
I think. I mean, it was a lot of stats, but I think I go B again here.
Okay.
You said 50 something from the field, 40 something from the 3, right? For B?
Yes.
And what was A?
Higher from
the field.
A lot lower from 3.
I think I go player B here.
Okay. So round 1. Can you guess who player A was? These are Western Conference players, by the way. How to switch cameras?
Our camera died.
Yeah, our camera died.
Okay. I can absolutely not guess any of these players.
None of them?
I'm not good enough with stats for that. Not even close.
Player A was a snub, so player B made an all-star team.
Okay, and I chose player A.
Player A.
Yep.
Player A was Domantas Sabonis. He was the most... I think he was the most controversial snub because on the MVP ladder, he's up there. But he did not make an all-star team. Player B, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Second round.
I thought player B was Anthony Davis because of the blocks.
Second round. Player A, De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
Player B, Stephen Curry.
I thought player B was Steph. The 3-point percentage was
I could have
high.
switched. I'm going to tell you who I could have switched with. I could have switched this third round first player with Lauri Markkanen. But I decided to go Şengün as player A.
Wow.
And player B is Karl Anthony Towns. I noted him as the seed because, like I said, they were first seed and they had 2 All-Stars. So you picked 2 All-Stars out of the 3. but Şengün was snubbed.
Yep.
And I think everybody knows that. I mean, Fox was snubbed as well, but our difficulty is finding someone who could really compare. I mean, you also had people like James Harden who were snubbed in the West.
Yeah.
You also had, like I said, Lauri Markkanen was snubbed. Rudy Gobert was snubbed. But that team is pretty fucking stacked either way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, there hasn't been much news yet. We got our first little bit today. You know, there's been some rumors. Our first real trade
I really think
happened earlier today. But what I want to ask you is, do you think there will be any big ticket trades? And if so, what you can get as specific as you want. What teams will be involved? What players will be involved? What do you think is going to happen in the next 24 hours?
big ticket, no. The big ticket already went down.
Okay.
James Harden was like already happened, so no. I would say no. And like last year, Kevin Durant was traded. I don't think anything's gonna be that big. There's gonna be good, solid players. Also, players like Siakam were already traded. OG Anunoby were traded. They were already traded.
Yep.
So I don't think any of that's gonna happen. But I think people like DeJounte Murray's gonna get traded. D'Angelo Russell's might go there. Austin Reeves could get traded. I think a lot of role players or borderline all-star players could get traded.
Okay. Yeah, I was reading about DeJounte Murray trade rumors earlier.
A lot of people think the Lakers, it could happen. A lot of people also think the Knicks. I really don't think the Knicks are gonna get him. I feel like the Knicks should go after someone like Malcolm Brogdon or someone like. I also seen rumors of Kelly Olynyk. I feel like that would help, especially since the Knicks are so beat with injuries right now. Julius Randle's out. OG Anunoby's out. Mitchell Robinson's been out for a while, but he's gonna start practicing again after All-Star break. You have Quentin Grimes out. He could be traded as well. I think that's a possibility. But yeah, I don't think anybody who's even an All-Star is going to get traded. I really don't see it. Anybody who's even an All-Star snub, I don't think he's going to get traded. People like Lauri Markkanen, I don't think he's going to get traded. I think the biggest person besides DeJounte Murray who get traded is Mikal Bridges. And I think the Nets really should trade a bunch of their players. I mean, at least like a bunch of their role players. I mean, that's really what the team is. It's a bunch of role players.
And Cam Thomas.
And Cam Thomas is a role player too. At least right now. He's a great scorer. He's a role player. He doesn't really offer a ton much else. I mean, he's getting better. He's improving playmaking, but his defense is really bad.
Yeah.
Like Nicholas Claxton, he's a role player. Mikal Bridges, he's a great role player, but he's still a role player. So there have been rumors saying that they're asking for a bunch of things. I don't believe him. I think they're just trying to drive the price up. That's the exact same thing I think the Warriors are doing with Andrew Wiggins. They're saying that a bunch of teams are interested in him. I don't see why any team would be interested in him, and with him and his contract, the way he's playing. So I think they're really just trying to buzz up. So that's what I really think. What do you think?
I mean, you said a lot of what I was thinking. You know, I said I was just reading about DeJounte Murray trade rumors earlier today. I know we were talking about the Andrew Wiggins trade. Usually when it gets close to trade deadline, you notice that there's a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names getting thrown around, big ticket names going to like big ticket teams and stuff like that. And I've noticed there hasn't been much of that this year. I've heard very little, and really the only rumor that is even would fall under that whole big ticket rumor thing wasn't even a rumor. It was mostly a joke, honestly, when people said that the Lakers were going to trade away LeBron James
to the Knicks. I mean, like, I really don't believe that. I mean,
I also heard the Mavs, they were going to trade him to the Mavs. Like, just them trading him in general, I don't think that's going to happen.
I see a lot of teams trying to retool, getting a bunch of role players so they can make a push for the playoffs, make a push for the postseason, try to get a championship. Like I said, I think the Knicks could really try to use a backup scorer. Also might use a backup four, like Kelly Olynyk.
Yep.
People like the Mavs themselves, I think they should go for front court, get a bunch better players. I mean, you have Lively, he's a good rookie, but then you have Kleber, who's mostly a shooter. Dwight Powell, who I know a lot of Mavs fans don't really like. So I think that's the best course of action. If I think a big team, right, they're not really high up. But I think if a big team tries to trade a bunch, I think if I had to predict a trade, right, that I see no rumors about, I think Klay Thompson might be traded.
Really?
He has not. He's washed.
Where would he go?
Great fucking. If you trade someone like Chris Paul, right? Chris Paul could be traded as well, but he's injured. But Chris Paul, big contract. Klay Thompson, big contract. Jordan, big contract. You trade them, you're gonna have to give up either one of your young players because nobody is gonna take those players on just head on.
Yeah, that kind of cap hit is just
Either that, or you're gonna have to give up picks.
yeah. So do you think that the Warriors, if they do trade Klay, would they give draft capital or would they give up some another player?
They like Kuminga.
They do.
Like Moody. They like Brandon.
I think they go draft capital.
I don't think teams would buy it. I think they want a player. Because other teams obviously like those players. I think the most likely to be traded out of those three is Moody.
Okay.
Because I think they don't really have the need for him as much.
Fair enough.
Unless they trade Paul. Because then you have Brandon and Moody and just the backcourt guys in the bench. But I see those. Unless they could trade Brandon as well.
But a Klay Thompson trade.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like the Lakers are going to do something. The GM is going to make his moves. I don't really see a DeJounte Murray trade. Like, I don't really see it with the Knicks. I don't really get what helps either team. The Lakers are really bad three-point shooters, and DeJounte Murray is like a fairly average one, and you're going to trade D'Lo, who's also like fairly average. Like, it's like DeJounte Murray is a little bit better as a player, but do you really gain as much? And you're going to give up a bunch of assets to get him.
Yeah.
It's either D'Lo. It's like they really don't want to trade Reeves, so you're trading D'Lo for him. You're not really getting the problem, which is your bench is bad.
Yeah.
So I don't really see it. I mean, I don't think a lot of the bad teams are going to get a lot of people either. Like, Cade Cunningham's not going to get traded. Bogdanovich could get traded, but I don't see it. Monte Morris could get traded. That's the person I see going to get traded from the Pistons. I don't think Jeremy Grant's going to get traded. I think Malcolm Brogdon's most likely to get traded from the Portland Trailblazers. I don't think Spurs are going to trade anybody. I don't think anybody really would want a player from the Wizards except Kuzma. Maybe Denny Avila. Actually, I think the Wizards might have. The Wizards are a weird team because they're not a bad team. They're a bad team, but they're not a bad team. Like, if you say the names of those players, you don't think, oh, that's a trash-ass player. Not most of them. Danny Avila is not a bad player. Daniel Gafford's not a bad player. Tyus Jones is not a bad player. Kuzma's not a bad player. And Jordan Poole, right? You can't blame everything on Jordan Poole. So then it comes down to one person, and that's coaching. But they still have been bad even when they fired Wes Unseld. So I think it might just be an organization problem because this has been their whole entire career as an organization from 1980 onward, besides when they got lucky and drafted John Wall in 2010. They've been a first-round exit lottery team.
Yep.
And then a bunch of other teams, like I said, those bad teams, I don't see giving up their players.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, there's a lot of buzz around trade deadline time, and it's been pretty quiet lately. In fact, I forgot that the trade deadline was even coming up until you reminded me last week.
Yeah.
And that's pretty crazy.
Especially it's unlike the NFL, right? NFL is pretty it's never really as it gets hyped, but it's never really as hyped. There's the 1 year Bradley Chubb got traded was the one time it was like, wow. The NBA's trade deadline is always like hitting on all cylinders. Like big hits are coming.
Yep.
Things you don't ever see are coming in. It's like free agency. It's honestly, I like it more than free agency usually. This year.
Well, I mean, you just said it. Things that you don't expect to happen. So maybe we'll be surprised next time we come.
Usually there's buzz about a bunch of players. There's buzz about nobody. Like nobody.
Yeah. It seems like a pretty dead trade deadline this year.
maybe a lot of teams like where they are, but then that's weird because you got big players aren't really performing, like the Lakers, the Warriors, the Heat aren't performing, but they made their trade for Rozier.
Yep. Yeah.
I guess it all has to come together
Well, I mean, we'll know tomorrow.
which should be our next episode.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good spot to end it.
I do as well. So that means hit the like button, subscribe if you like the content, comment, boost engagement. Like I said in the intro, follow us on TikTok, Instagram,
YouTube,
Twitch,
everything. Twitter.
Reddit.
We're trying to get something started here.
WhatsApp, MySpace,
We don't
Tumblr.
have. We don't have those.
No,
we don't have
Napster.
those. We don't have those. Don't do that.
Napster,
We don't do that.
Facebook,
We don't do that either.
Mark Zuckerberg's home.
We don't do that.
So, like I said, I'm Michael Smith,
I'm Mario Persiani.
and we're from the logo.